Not content with your content? You've come to the right place. The Discontent Show with Joe Kuzma. Every brand starts with a story. Here's how you can grow your business by sharing it. Now, with today's topic, the host of The Discontent Show, Joe Kuzma.
Hello, everyone. My name is Joe Kuzma, and welcome back to The Discontent Show. If you happen to be a returning listener, thank you for coming back and listening to me. If you happen to be a new listener, well, stay a while, and I hope you enjoy what I have to speak about, because when I named this show Discontent, I wanted to drive across that a lot of us aren't happy with what we do with Facebook or Twitter or the results that we get with some of our content marketing, your blogs, your podcasts, social media, email marketing, ebooks, anything that you have out there that you're trying to build a platform. And today's episode is one of those tools that you may use in order to help build your following, be it on Facebook, be it on Twitter, Instagram, any of the social media networks that you have. Also works for email as well. It's anything where you're just trying to gather information, whether it's a like on your Facebook page, a follower on Twitter, a follower on Instagram, someone signs up for your email newsletter. These all work the same way. Of course, doing it through email, unless you have a way to already email people and solicit more emails. Usually you have to drive that through social media as well. So this is going to go hand in hand with that. One way a lot of folks out there like to try and build up their audience is by using contests, giveaways, and things of that nature. And that's what I want to talk about today, because I've been doing quite a bit of this lately, and it has its own challenges in and of itself. First of all, I was just going to give some tips. I was going to say, hey, these are some of the things you might want to do. Like if it's Twitter, you ask someone to follow your Twitter profile and retweet, right? Simple enough. But not always the case that's that simple. And one of the things you got to start out with is, well, what are you going to give away? I mean, you got to have something that's kind of an enticing prize. Maybe you actually have a product or some type of service that you could give away. It's not something that you have to go out and buy, let's say like $100 Visa card or something like that. You don't really have to go to those type of extremes, but it's still something to think about, because giveaways are probably going to cost you something aside from just time. You're going to have maybe some type of finances involved in that if you are purchasing prizes for the giveaway, or if it's even something you have in stock of your own product. There's still, some tangible value to that, correct? But there's also a tangible value for those who decide that, they're going to like your Facebook page because you're giving away whatever widget. Well, that's very true too. And if it's not something that's too exciting, it's not going to get a whole lot of traction, and it's probably going to fail. It's probably not going to work out too well. And I've seen it on both ends. I've seen every kind of variety of these contests too. And it seems like, you're begging for someone's information, and that's okay, because that's essentially what it is. I think when people understand that they follow you on Twitter in order to win a contest, that's the price you pay to enter. But one of the things you got to do is you got to make sure that you set up what your goal is. Do you want to gain more followers? Do you just want that post? Do you just want that product to get out in front of more eyeballs? And that's going to kind of dictate the way people enter and how you operate this type of thing. But you need to have something that's an exciting prize. If you give away a brick, I don't know that a whole lot of people are going to be excited in giving away their like or follow or anything like that, their email address, to win a brick, right? So another thing too is I've seen like some of these contests, and they tend to, let's say, they start it in the middle of an afternoon and end it in the evening. You got to let these things breathe. And then there's also the flip side of letting them run maybe a little too long. So you got to kind of have a battle plan right away on what it is you're trying to accomplish, how much money or time you're going to have involved in it, how long it's going to run. Of course, the prizes, how many winners, how you got to think about how you're going to collect the entries. I'm going to talk a little bit about the physical structure of the contest contests too. But one of the big things you've got to do is if you have a website or somewhere, you have to lead someone to some official contest rules. This may actually be a state law wherever you live that you have to follow some guidelines. And you know what? I'm generically calling this a contest, but in some cases it's actually called a sweepstakes if you get into the legal jargon. So once you figure some of that out, you could even possibly copy some templated legal information that's out there. Of course, this is no legal advice coming from me. I'm not an attorney or a lawyer, so take it as is. But it's something that you could look up, and at least, you know, some of the things you put on there is when the contest ends, when you're going to draw a winner, how many people win, and what the actual prize is. And then you outline some of the rules for that contest. And that's really the rules is how do you enter? How do you play? A lot of times you're going to have to say that no purchase is necessary on these type of things as well. Again, governed by whatever your local laws are. So you've got all this set up. So how do you actually run or operate something like this? Well, try and decide where you want it to be. You could run it on, let's take Facebook, for example, just to start. Facebook, and I've been harping on this on the show for weeks and months now, they have made, ever since Zuckerberg went in front of Congress, they have made some crazy changes, and it's just harder and harder for business pages to be seen organically. It may or may not happen depending on the type of brand loyalty that you have. If you're just starting out, you have zero brand loyalty, you may have to run some paid ads. So that's also a consideration when it comes to your budget for the contest as well. But, you know, you're going to ask somebody to share a Facebook post, for example. What I'm getting to here is that Facebook has locked down privacy to a point where you almost can't even see if somebody shared it. Now, the general public doesn't know that you can't see whether or not they shared it or not, and it's kind of a little dirty trick for anyone who's into social media marketing. So the way you kind of get around this is you know, one of the things you want, obviously, is someone to like or follow your page, right? Your Facebook page. So they have to go to your Facebook page as one of the conditions and click like. Now, I'm pretty sure you could still check it within that person's individual profile, maybe within the privacy settings, and see if they like the page. Otherwise, it's going to be kind of the honor system, the same as if you say, hey, you must share this post. But how do you actually choose a winner if you can't see who liked something and who shared it? Well, it used to be that simple, and it's no longer that way. Just thank the few bad apples that spoil the punch, as usual. You ask for someone to comment. Now, I know that's 3 steps, but if it's just on Facebook, I mean, it's not that many steps, but you ask them to comment on the post. You got to do all 3 of these things in order to enter to win this prize. And then you're able to see the comments. Unless they have like some real crazy privacy settings set up on their account, you're going to be able to see if they commented on your page. And if you got somebody that's like that wants to live off the grid, well, then you're not going to see it. They're not going to win. It's just that simple. Hopefully you have more than just 1 or 2 entries, and then it won't be an issue if that kind of doesn't show on your Facebook page or on the posts. But you kind of want to... One thing a lot of people do too is that they put a hashtag, and this is with the actual post you would be making for the contest. This just helps you find it easier, but I got a little tip for you. A few ways you could do this. You could share your post after you've made it to your Facebook page. You could share it to yourself via Facebook Messenger. That way you have a record of it and you saved it. Another thing, especially if you're on a desktop computer, up where the date and time are, if you hover over that, that's a link. And you'll notice if you were to click on that, it opens only that post, and up in your address bar, you have this big long link with a bunch of gobbledygook, facebook.com/ I don't know what it says, like post / ABCDEFG 1 2 3 4 5. And that is the link, the URL for your specific Facebook post. So you could copy that, put it somewhere safe, Word document, email it to yourself. I said Facebook Messenger, put it in a notepad file. If you use Evernote, the note-taking program that's in the cloud, anything like that, so you don't lose it. Because if you make multiple posts, then you got to also outline that they could share, any of those posts. So you could enter multiple times if it's multiple posts, you're going to want to say one entry per post as well, so you don't have 30 comments from the same person trying to be the quote winner. But if you either way, you want to be able to track and go back to that Facebook post and then see, when it's time to draw the winner, so you'll be able to pick a winner. And there's, when you get down to this is basically the same nuts and bolts deal if you do it on Twitter or Instagram or anywhere else. I just use random number generators. I have those links in order. Let's say I shared it 5 times. Put on Google. You could ask any of the robo things out there like a Siri or an Alexa for a random number between 1 and 5, and they'll usually tell you. I even ask Siri to flip, hey, heads or tails, and I'll get that a lot of times too if I'm choosing between 2 different things. Usually that's me just trying to go out to eat, trying to decide with the wife, and it usually doesn't work anyways. That's her, not the actual technology. So that helps you kind of drill down, and then of course the way you're viewing it on your screen, you have all the comments and things like that. You count them up, and then you could draw a random number from that, and boom, you have your winner. Now there's some different programs out there that'll pick things for you, especially if let's say you run it on Twitter, and you can put in a tweet and it'll pick a random person who left or retweeted it, so you don't have to go through and count like 100 retweets, 100 comments or anything like that. Now Twitter, you don't necessarily have to comment or reply. Twitter, since it's not locked down as much privately, it's one of the best places to usually run a contest. What you usually run into is your demographic. Depending on what it is you're giving away, you may have younger people that aren't interested in winning, I don't know, like a cup of coffee or something like that. Although, I don't know, some may. It took me until my 30s to start drinking coffee, and now I can't stop. I'm addicted. But you get the idea. There's some things that only seem to cater to a certain demographic. You give away a gift card, money is like for anybody. Now, if it's a specific gift card to a specific place and somebody doesn't shop there, let's say a lingerie store, and I'm a male, not particularly interested in entering that contest. So know your audience, know your demographics there, know your platform. There's just a bazillion people on Facebook, but Twitter is more public. So you can ask for someone to follow you. You can ask for a retweet, and usually that'll get it going. A lot of times if you partner up with another business or company, as I do, you're going to ask for them to do the same and follow not only your own profile or account, but the co-sponsor of the sweepstakes or contest as well. And Twitter, that makes it real easy, and you could look up, there's different tools that are out there. Now, with both of those, Facebook and Twitter in mind, there are various other programs that are out there, software that'll run these contests for you, and you put it in your web page for the contest, which is very important. If I didn't mention this already, with your website, you want to put all this stuff on an individual page and have a link for the official rules, and you want to have all of that detailed, like I said, what the prize is, how long the contest runs, when it ends, when the winner's drawn, how many prizes there are, like is it a grand prize, are you giving away like second prizes, like 3 of whatever this is, and things of that nature. Also the same thing with the no purchase necessary, maybe not allowing employees or people related to whoever to win or participate, only 1 entry. So things like that, you want to send somebody to some type of page or post that's on your website, or at least link to it there as well. But if you have that page, you could just tell people, instead of trying to fit it into 280 characters on Twitter, you could tell them to go to that page, and then sometimes these other software or websites that you go to that'll do contests for you, they'll give you something you could embed in that page, and then you just click there, and it kind of does some of the dirty work for the people so they don't have to manually do it. That may incur additional fees too. Some are free, so be careful with that. Instagram is a very interesting one to try and do because you can't share. You don't really share anything, and it doesn't really bring anyone back to you. on Instagram. So what you got to kind of ask is for people to follow your page. You got to use some hashtags on Instagram so it kind of shows up in other people's feeds. Maybe they might be searching for something trending and they come across your post. Or, of course, you could also pay to boost or have paid ads on Instagram to get that contest in front of more strangers, right? Because these are the people that you don't know that you want them to discover you so they do get to know you. And the people that are already following you, that's not really the contest. Hey, if it's something for them because they're loyal to you, great. You know what? They deserve it. But a lot of times what you're trying to do with this is build your audience and get more followers, get more people, more eyeballs and everything on you, because that's what marketing is, right? Get the word out. So on Instagram, it's interesting because you can't share anything. You can't really link anything. You could put a link in your bio and you could change that to the rules if you want, but you got to remember to go back after the contest is over. Don't forget that. You could always just tell people, go over to whatever, and they have to manually type it in, or use a URL shortener. Google has them. Bitly is another popular one, and that way they only have to know, like, type in bit.ly/ and it's usually like 5 or 6 characters, and it's a lot easier than something like, joekuzma.com/ tremendous, awesome, amazing vacation contest or something. That's obviously not real. I would never allow it to be that long, but you don't want it to be generic either. If it's on your website, it's got to be something easy to remember. So joekuzma.com/ if you do contests, you might use it again. So maybe it's, let's say I was giving away a paid vacation / paid vacation / vacation contest / 2018 contest. So those are some ideas in order for you to try and shorten and make this more focused with your official rules page, the giveaway page. And then, of course, this is going to help those with Instagram, because you know what? If you're already sharing it on Facebook or Twitter and you have that link there, people could tap on it and they could go right to it. They don't have to remember to type all of that stuff in, but Instagram, they're going to have to. So either the URL shortener or make it something that's somewhat memorable, and then you could use that across all platforms, or both. You could also do both if you're doing multiple posts for these contests. Now, Instagram, obviously you have to have some imagery that comes with this, so you might want to make some type of graphic that has, win or whatever the prize is and anything like that. And you're going to want to ask people to like your post and leave a comment. And the commenting, again, is so you can actually find them and see. You could actually see who liked the posts too on Instagram. You're going to scroll forever, the same maybe with comments. And there are tools. Instagram's getting a lot more mature now and allowing web tools that can crawl and glean some of this data. You may have to do some of these manually because, quite frankly, I don't put a whole lot of faith or stock into these kind of robo programs for picking a winner. I'd rather just, like I said, flip a coin, write it down on a piece of paper, go to the next thing. So this is kind of important too, because if you're not running one specifically on any of these platforms, and those are the 3, by the way, that I recommend. You can't really run a contest on LinkedIn. You can put a link for your contest on your LinkedIn so people are aware of it, but it's really to kind of build out and get more of a following on those other social media platforms, because you're looking for more customers. Unless you're a B2B, then okay, that might be something a little different, but a little more specialized. I think in most cases, you're just looking to get more word of mouth here and get more followers, build your audience as far as your social media and content marketing. So if you kind of hone in, Twitter's probably the best. Instagram's not too bad either. Facebook is just kind of bizarre and crazy right now when it comes to doing anything like this. You could pick one of them. You could pick more than one of them. If you pick more than one of them, you want to start, when you choose a winner, you want to start at the very top level, and you have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Write them down in the order that you want. Pick a random number, and boom, there you go. Now you're going to pick, okay, it came out Twitter. Now I'm going to go through the Twitter posts that I made and pick which of those posts is the winner. This is the winning post. So now I'm going to see who retweeted and who commented, or however you set it up, and also verify that they actually follow you too. Another thing that I like to put in the contest rules, especially when you're dealing, this is great when it comes to Twitter, you definitely have to make note of the bots that are out there. If you're not familiar with the term, it's either fake accounts that are just kind of automated, or these are people who create accounts just for the sole purpose of entering all of these contests and kind of spamming you. So I always have a disclaimer in my contests for this, because I am not going to give something away to somebody when all they're trying to do is game the system with all these different giveaways and contests that are out there on social media. So that's an important one for you to look up on. And of course, it doesn't hurt to reply back if people ask questions or say something, like their comments. What you're trying to do is amplify that message and try and get it in front of more people. After everything is said and done, you pick a winner. You're going to want to contact them. Hopefully you have the ability to contact them. You may want to announce it publicly, or at least get their permission to do so publicly. You could put that in your rules as well. I know people with the lottery, like the big Powerballs and the Mega Millions, they probably don't want their name out there. They're going to get harassed. But for your little widget, I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference. Never know, though. If you're giving away $1 million, then you may want to reconsider that. So if you're giving away $1 million, you can find me over at joekuzma.com, and I'll run your contest for you. A little joke there. So yeah, absolutely, folks. You're going to want to pick the winner, and then of course own up to it. You not only announce the winner, but send them the stuff and let everybody know that your contests are legit. Because the worst is, in this day and age of the internet and people who hide behind keyboards, I've seen people put up contests and they get whatever the engagement that they want for a weekend, a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or something of that nature, and then they just delete it. And they'll even change account names and stuff, because all they're trying to do is build up a Twitter or Instagram account and then sell it to somebody else. So there's some shady folks that are out there. Don't be one of them. Be upfront and honest, and you're going to find out that your following is going to grow from that. And if it worked for you, give it a little bit of a breather, and then maybe come back. You're going to want to analyze some of the things that you did with this contest. You're going to find ways to refine and tweak it, hone it, make it even better for when you run another one. And hopefully that just keeps stacking up and building out your platform. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you have any questions about running contests or what might be a sweepstakes in your area on social media, feel free to contact me over at joekuzma.com/contact. You could also email me, by the way, at hellojoe@joekuzma.com, or find me on social media. I'm always lurking somewhere around on one of those bigger platforms. Until next time, I always encourage all listeners of the Discontent Show out there to be safe, be good, and I'll catch you later. Hi folks, this is Joe Kuzma. No, don't worry, you're not hearing things twice. I'm just here to say, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for listening to today's show and being a follower and subscriber of the Discontent Podcast. And I want to remind you that if you're interested in more information about all the various things it is that I do, whether it be about this show, content marketing, or you want to ask a question, you may visit me at joekuzma.com. That's JOEKUZMA.com. Or you can follow me as well on Facebook. Make sure you get the page and not the personal profile. Sorry, it's only for friends and family. Also on Twitter at Joe_Kuzma, LinkedIn or Instagram. Also, don't forget, if you haven't already, subscribe, whether that be on iTunes, YouTube, or your favorite podcast provider, so you don't miss out on any of the great episodes that we have. Once again, thank you again for your support, and I look forward, as always, to speaking and interacting with each of you again soon.